Hello, YouTube. The other day, this article came out, caused a lot of controversy, a lot of fear-mongering, and is protein powder dangerous because it contains too much lead? There's this website called Consumer Reports, this organization that was making the claim that pretty much a bunch of different protein powders have dangerous amounts of lead in them. And when you read it, it sounds very scary, very dangerous. But there's a couple of things about it that make it ultimately fear-mongering nonsense. The first one is we have these set safety standards for the amount of lead the trace amounts of leads that can exist in all different products, not just protein powders. And a lot of these protein powders are actually tested, and they are below the maximum amount of trace lead that can exist in their products. But who's saying this? The NSF is the one that is saying this. And they're the ones that come up with the guidelines. They're the ones that draw the line of whether or not this is safe for consumption and whether or not people can, experience dangerous, or any type of side effects from, incurring too much lead. And so what Consumer Reports did is they did not use that as their guideline. They used a standard that is 20 times lower than that. And they also applied another standard that was 1,000 times lower than that. So what they're trying to do is rewrite the level of lead exposure that they consider to be dangerous, even though we already have national guidelines on this, that all of them fall underneath of it and haven't shown anything to really be dangerous for people at that particular level. So how did they come up with the below 20x? I don't know. And the one that was 1,000 times lower is Proposition 65, which is in the state of California, their rule of, types of different metal exposures. And again, I don't think this is a good way to base whether or not a product is safe or dangerous or not, because, it's already safe at 1,000 times higher than what they're saying. Like, you're not seeing people that are consuming higher levels than what Consumer Reports is reporting having problems with lead. Also, if you think this is like a new trend or anything, I'm gonna link the article from a response from someone who criticizes the Consumer Reports article and makes his point, is that our overall lead consumption as a country, United States, and around the world, is down dramatically. Like, the amount of lead that people consume in trace amounts from their diets is the lowest it's ever been. And the reason why it's the lowest it's ever been is because when we manufacture and create, food items, the way that we're able to extract them is just getting better and more efficient. And we're able to get rid of, unwanted, trace elements. So we've improved upon that. So yeah, I think this Consumer Reports article, what is their motivation? I don't know if it's just to, rage bait and get clicks from rage baiting. I don't know if it's like they want the FDA to be involved with regulating supplements, which I think, might not necessarily be a bad thing, but it might not be something that's necessarily, totally worth it. I don't know if they want to, make comments and explain why they're using these arbitrary guidelines that they kind of made up on their own that, fly in the face of the guidelines we have that have proven they are, safe in these ranges. But my take is, a non-professional nutrition, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, is that I feel like it's probably safe to consume protein powders, and that, this isn't a worry for anyone. But I do know that, people want to stay up to date, know what's going on. They want to limit their exposures to, different things. One of the really interesting things is, like, they had, vegan protein powders ahead of animal protein powders that use, like, whey. And the reason why was when you source, like, a lot of them use pea protein. When you get peas from the ground, you know, the soil has a little bit of lead. So even the vegan protein powders, you know, by the actual standards, not the arbitrary ones, are still safe to consume. You can have 2 shakes a day from what I've been reading and be fine. And something that I thought was really interesting was, you know, we've banned lead in certain different products because, you know, we saw that there seemed to be a correlation between, you know, exposure to lead products and IQs being lowered. That might be a little bit overstated, and the effect that it might have might not be anywhere near as bad as what we initially thought, even though, you know, it's still not good to have lead. It's just not like it's the devil. And one of the unfortunate realities, I don't know if I think it's necessarily unfortunate, but like, you know, no matter what you do or eat, I mean, again, it was like, it pointed out that the vegan products, the vegan protein powders, had more lead because they were getting it from, you know, plants, is that when you consume, you know, fruits, vegetables, things that come out of the soil, they have trace amounts of different elements like lead on them. It's kind of unavoidable. If you're a human being, our mineral and plant extraction process is not just perfect yet, but at the same time, I don't really think it's that dangerous to get these trace elements really in your body, you know, or certainly we've gotten better at it. So it's not something to be like, you know, overly concerned about. But yeah, I would say the one real concern is in the supplement industry, again, things are not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. So supplement companies can lie, but there are ones that, you know, are manufactured in what's called a GMP facility, which stands for Good Manufacturing Process. And those ones, you can kind of trust the guidelines on that one. So I would say if you're buying supplements like protein powder, my advice is use the ones that are like the bigger names that have some validity to them, instead of finding like this, you know, interesting off the beaten path brand that, you know, might not have the same level of credibility. In this particular regard, I think credibility matters a little more here in the supplement industry than it does in other areas. But that's my advice. I'm going to link the article again for you to read the reply. In that article I share, it has the original Consumer Report, so you can go and, you know, see if what I'm saying you agree with or disagree with. But hopefully this made sense and was helpful to someone.